Hello! How's it going, everybody? Bones! It is main theme and more bones, baby. Always more bones. There's never enough bones in the game. You can click start, although I was the one who just clicked it to start the stream. Hello! Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Is that the main theme? Sort of. At the moment, it's kind of like a placeholder main theme. It's meant to be the shop theme that plays when you get between levels and kind of have a little breather. Get to spend some of your viatica and trade some beads. Bones is the only thing needed. Yeah, that's what the Beatles said. All you need is bones. Your game is cool. Thank you. We have a catacombs theme for bones, but what about a graveyard, cemetery, and burial grounds? Hmm. I mean, that should be something that's in the game, right? You go through the graveyard or cemetery, then you get into the catacombs. That would be a nice little transitional area. Excited for minigame competition. Me too. You would not believe how many have submitted already. I'm trying not to look because I don't want to see any names or anything. I want to make sure that it's all anonymous. But I can tell you how many there are. Everybody take a guess at how many there are. Should you make your own game? Oh, absolutely, Top Hat Red. Make your own game. I think everybody should try it. Everybody should get into this because it's just so rewarding. It's so fun. Even if you just do it as a hobby, I mean, it's amazing. 876, 117, 5,689, 400, 10K. Every single person submitted one. 46, 5K, maybe 50. Isla, that's cheating, you already know. 324, 200, 200, two 200s in a row from different people. Wow. 762, 600, 579, 8. All right. The current number is 250. So why are people saying random numbers? Also, hello. Hello. 304. Pretty close, actually. Yeah, so there's a if you're wanting to submit a mini game for the challenge, that's going to close 3 weeks from Friday, so slightly less than 3 weeks from now. What do I know? You know nothing. So my mods are gonna help me a lot with kind of sorting through. We're gonna discuss because I don't want it to be just all me, you know. Just I picked the top four. No, we're gonna have a little bit of a conversation. Nice, you can finally see the chat. Where can you submit? In the description of the last devlog, there's a link to the Google form. So the one that and then I'll also repost it to the community forum. But the one with the Reaper chasing down Samuel, that's the thumbnail that you're looking for to find that. How to make a game? Well, that's a big question. Have fun going and studying. See you later. All right, so what we're going to do today, I'm going to add some status effects to Samuel. Submit uh, up in the chat. It'll show you. Or just watch the most recent devlog. You'll find out. Today we're gonna add a couple status effects to Samuel, or maybe just one if it doesn't go as well as I'm hoping. But so and you can imagine why this is because we're about to work on the Chained Monastery. But I'm going to add an immobilized effect and a pain status effect. So that should be that should give you a hint of what's coming. Oh, nice. Uh, that's okay. Link will be added. Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yeah, lots of people here today. It's awesome. Bye, Dark Element. Okay, so let's start with immobilized. Dun dun dun. This is my little testing ground area if you haven't seen it before. It's got lots of random stuff just floating around like skeletons and things. But I think for this one, just want to pop in to say hey. Might catch up on some later bits. See you later, Zach. Dust should make him cough. That would be great. Indie games are so dusty. All indie game protagonists should be coughing because they all kick up so much dust. Okay, so what we're going to start with on this one is some coding. Ba, ba, ba. The first thing you need to do to immobilize, I think, so I want it to be immobilized. So here's how it's going to work, the mechanic. Immobilized, and then once you input a certain number of things, like we'll have to tune it to see what feels right, maybe like 20 button presses or something like that, and then you can get free. Oh yeah, I'll switch over the screen and there we go. Haha. Perfect. So maybe 20 button presses after you get chained or immobilized, and then you'll break free. So you'll have this moment of like, oh no, I'm chained. I gotta go, and then and then you can break free. I've skimmed the minigame suggestions. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get any information about who submitted what because I don't want it to be biased at all. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that a button press is something that's sort of generic. So I have to go into my player input script to do that. Oh, which, of course, like, what did I even call it? It's been a while since I've looked at that because you tend to not need it that much. Go game manager, player input. And I just called it input manager because player input was already taken. That's why. Oh, have fun at your tennis tournament. Why not? Yes, it is made in Unity. What's my opinion on Unreal Engine? It seems really cool to me. You can do a lot of beautiful stuff in Unreal Engine. But I would miss this stuff. The node-based programming they do in there does not really appeal to me very much. And then C++ is too scary. So I like my C sharp. Okay, so now what I need to do is think about which inputs are going to result in like the chain or the immobilization breaking down. So the interact, probably not. Pause button, definitely not, because I don't want to stop the player from pausing. And what I'm going to do now is interrupting that. So here's my quick bash. I think attacking should definitely break it down a little bit. So we're going to say if ctx.phase equals input action phase dot, oh, started, I already have that. Then we're going to do bash input equals true. Now I'm thinking about this further. And this is what we actually need. We need on button pressed. So any input will trigger this action. Let's do on input pressed. How about? Oh, this isn't going to be an action. Yeah, it is. It is going to be an action. Okay, so anytime an input is pressed, we're just going to send this message. This is an action. So it doesn't really care about calling a certain thing. Yeah, moving left, right button, or joystick should definitely do it too. So a dodge, that'll count as an input pressed. Lift. Oh, that's funny. I initially called this lift. I'm going to change that to, no, I can't change that now. But this is catch because in the original, in the very, very early game, I was thinking of it as lift, so any object could be lifted. But it's really more about catching at this point. I don't want to do that. Okay. So we'll call that as an input pressed as well. Quick bash, totally. But we only want it to happen, we're actually going to move it in here, because we only want it to happen when the button is pressed. If you put it up here without without specifying which phase the input action is, so this is what happens, input action phase started is when the button is pushed down. Input action phase canceled is when it's lifted up. So we don't want it to happen at both times. We just want to happen when it first gets pushed down. So I'm going to put it inside the start, or inside the performed or the started, whichever one it happens to be. Because sometimes that also takes a little bit of tuning to see what feels the best, whether it's started or performed. And so I have some of the motions set up a little bit differently. Update last action time. Okay. So move read value vector 2. This here. So this is a little bit more complicated of a question because I only have this as whenever every single frame in update, it's reading the value of my input, whether that's WASD or the joystick. So we want it to be like somebody was saying earlier, um, blah, blah, blah. What was I thinking? Like somebody was saying earlier, switching sides should do it. So what we might want to do is track whether or not that has changed. So that means that we need to store a last move input. I think that might be a useful thing to have generally. Public vector2 last move input. These variables should probably be a little bit more secure later and not all just be public, but um, let's see. Any button is too easy to choose with macros. Left, yeah, so that's probably left right inputs does make the most sense. So what I need to do is have a last move input stored. So we go move action, move last move input equals move. So this is going to take the current one, so from the last frame what the move input was, and then the move action read value vector 2, and then let's go in here and say have another action public action move input reversed X specifically. So we're going to say if last move input. Oh wait, I think we want to wait, and let's wait to do that until we take last move input int. So we're going to save these as update last action time. Oh, I see what I did there. So I already kind of did something similar for some other reason. Last move int. We'll save this as not just a vector2 of floats, but as a vector2 of ints, so they're more immediately comparable. Last move int public vector2 int last move int. And we don't actually need to do this. We can just say last move int equals move int. And that's going to have to happen before I set the new move int. So then here's my little if statement. If move int at if last move int x, right, dot x. Why is that not behaving? Last move int dot x cannot. Oh, it's just trying to say that I'm already making the statement. Does not equal or equals. We're going to say it does equal negative move int dot x. Then we're going to trigger that action of last. That shouldn't be necessary, but I'm going to make sure that it happens. Then we're going to trigger that move input reversed x action. Invoke question mark. Oh wait, last. I sometimes get this backwards. Move input reversed x question mark dot invoke question mark dot invoke, and then we'll later subscribe that in the player script to whatever does the 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 decrementing of the rooting strength or the immobilization strength. All right, let's see. Dryden, how are you going to accommodate someone circling the thumbstick on a controller, for instance? Because wouldn't that cycle movement left then up then right? It wouldn't cause problems because here's what happens. So right now I'm comparing the into well maybe because let's make it not let's just make it not equal to, because that will get rid of that problem. What I'm doing here is flattening out the movement. So it'll either be in the integer version, vector2 int, can only be 0, 1, or -1. So what I'm doing here is saying if it changes from 1 to 0, that's going to decrement the, what's the word? The immobilization. If it changes from 0 to 1, that's also going to do it, or the other way. So if you're going in a circle, at a certain point when you hit the 0.5 marker, that round to int is going to start rounding it down. And that's the moment when you're going to get the little like, oh, I'm starting to break the immobilization. Oh, and then we're going to break it the other way too. So we can really make it as much as we want to with how long it takes to break it. It just depends on how fast you're smashing your little buttons. All right. Just thought I'd read a little bit of chat. Hello, what are you working on? I'm working on the immobilization of Samuel and how he can become free from immobilization. So the changes in movement input that decreases the chain stacks. Yes, exactly. So when you get chained or when you get immobilized, I think there could be multiple different iterations of immobilization that use the same script, the same framework to go by. Then you could apply like here's 50 stacks of it, and you have to go to get free. But there could be a weaker version of it that's like, oh, here's just you just got roped, you just got lassoed or something, and that's only 20 stacks. You can get free sooner. And that could also be tuned by like how easy it is to avoid too. Like a really heavy immobilization could have like a long wind up, so you have a lot of leeway, and if you didn't get out of the way, that's your fault. You're now 50 stack chained. So we can program that in pretty easily. And actually, I think I like the idea. I mean, yeah, you're right. The macros would make it really easy to escape if it wasn't rotating that. Let's take those out. Let's take out jump and dodge. I think if we panic, if we panic, then that's going to be it's going to happen anyway. So we'll just do back and forth to free yourself. Okay, into the player script. For anybody who's new today or new in the last couple minutes, what I'm doing is working on immobilizing Samuel. So the main character is going to have a status effect that can happen to him where he gets totally immobilized and has to get free. So I just updated the input manager script to track whether or not you're changing direction with your control stick or your AD keys, AD spam. And then now I have to make it so that it actually happens. So I'm going to make a new script for the player just to keep on the player object. Let's see, that should be I'll put that in the player. This is a mess right now, but don't look at how many things are in that, are in this folder. And we're going to call it immobilization. Actually, we'll keep it as a mono behavior for now, just so I can easily track and see in the inspector what's going on. It'll be much easier to debug if I don't make it a C# object. Serialized field, we're going to call this int, and let's call it immobilization count or something like that. Something that's clear. And then in, let's see, what do we need for this? We need an onEnable. So this is what happens when the object is enabled. We're going to subscribe to the player. So actually the player should initialize this. Let's have a private or public, because something else has to do it. Public void initialize. This onServer initialize thing bugs me every time I try to make an initialization method. And then we're going to go player. Actually, we only need the input. So let's drop in input manager input. And in the initialization method, we're going to go input dot, what was that one, on direction changed X? What did we call that? Oh, on move input, right? All right, we got to go back and look. Move input on, yeah, what? I always put on before actions. Why did I not do that there? On move input reversed X. Actually, technically now it's not, we're not asking if it's reversed, we're asking if it's changed. So on move input changed X. That's going to help me remember in the future in like a couple months when I come back to this or something. Classic player. Nice. Okay. On move input changed X. And we're going to subscribe a new method to that is private void decrement count. And that's just going to go immobilization count minus minus. If immobilization count is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to set, let's have a bool up here. Public bool immobilized. And that's going to be gettable, but not settable by any exterior script. This is going to be fully in control of whether or not we're immobilized. Immobilization count, then immobilized is going to be false. And let's just create an action as well. Yeah, let's just create an action as well. Public bool or public event action. Yeah, immobilization changed. Let's do that. On immobilization changed plus equal decrement count. So now every time the move input changes, that's going to add this function to what happens. And if we're at 0, then we're going to do onImmobilize changed, invoke that so that something else can know or respond to that changing. What did I do wrong? Oh, there has to be a immobilized is going to go here. Okay. And then we also need a public method so that something else can set this. Public void set immobilization. Or, yeah, set immobilized. That's going to take in an int. Counts. There we go. Immobilization count plus equals counts. So we're just going to add whatever comes into this function to the immobilization count. Immobilized is going to, let's just make sure this should never happen. But if immobilization count is greater than 0, then we're going to be saying immobilized equals true. And also we're going to make sure that this can't go into the negative. So anytime you're decrementing the immobilization count, if it gets below 0 or equals 0, then we're just going to set it back equal to 0. Could also use a clamp for that, but I don't need to. Okay, on disable, Let's actually do this. Just the order of operations here. Got to think about this. Let's do on destroy instead this time. Because there could be a time when it's temporarily disabled and then I don't want it to unsubscribe from this. That'll cause like problems down the line. But if it's on destroy, that's pretty safe. And then we'll hold on to the private input manager input. This dot input equals input. So now this will know what that's talking about. Will this game have achievements? Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna have achievements. If you've got any great ideas for achievements, lay them on me. Uh, how will the zone structure work? Well, you have to go through all of them every run. I'm gonna make a video about this soon because I think it's good for everybody to kind of know what the flow is gonna be. But the idea is that you start in the catacombs, that's an always thing, and you end at the bank, that's an always thing. But in the middle, you'll get to choose which ones you go to. So you might go to the Infinite Machine and then Eudor's area, the Maelstrom. You might go to Silas's area and then some other new special area that I haven't created yet, but is coming. But you'll be able to choose your route. And that video is planned for like 2 weeks from now. So that'll also cover things like how I'm going to progress the story and meta progression and stuff. What's the difference between public variables and serialized fields? Serialized fields is more limited. So in a serialized field, you can make it private. So another script can't actually change the value of immobilization count. But what serialized fields and public fields have in common is that over in the inspector, like here, if I go to the game manager, they can both be seen like from here, like this. If it's not serialized, and public fields are serialized, that's technically what's happening here, but they both are just ways to make it show in the inspector so I can edit it that way. It's a little helpful thingy. Okay, so this should be, I think, almost everything we need for this. Now we need to incorporate it into the player movement script. Actually, no, I'm not going to forget, because I always forget to initialize this. So let's have player let's go private immobilization. And then we're going to here say immobilization equals add component. Oh, added component. We need to go GameObject.add component, don't we? Add component. Oh, speedrunning achievements. Yeah, speedruns for sure. There's got to be like a fast one. Make an achievement for when someone double kills an enemy. Oh, like when you hit two enemies with the same projectile. That is very possible and would be a fun achievement. Oh, achievements to good beat a run without taking damages. Whoa, yeah. People are gonna that's gonna be so hard, but I do want to make it fair enough that that's like a doable thing. Okay, immobilization, add the component, and then we're gonna initialize it. Let's see, collectible bones, achievements not bad, die within the first time, complete a run with 0 light. Oh my gosh. Actually, that wouldn't be too hard if you can get the right things to maximize your light size. It would be really hard. It's the 10K bone fountain. It might be an Easter egg, the 10K bone fountain. The people want bones. Also, hi Kim. An achievement for reaching the bank with a certain high amount of coins. Oh, that'd be so good. Deposit. Does some projectile penetrate? Yeah, so the way that the projectiles work is they have a durability system. So sometimes they just take durability damage upon hitting something, a wall or an enemy or dealing damage. So some of them can like do for multiple. So like if you throw a bone, that one always whatever it hits just breaks. But if you throw a skull, so I like the skulls because they can like kind of bounce a little bit, so they can hit a wall and then an enemy or two enemies in a row. Complete a run without getting money. Anytime you kill an enemy, you just have to like run away and hide. Those no geo runs in Hollow Knight are unreal to me. Achievement stonks, invest in the bank. Somebody suggested like an investment thing in the bank area. I think that could be really interesting. A bone meringue would be so cool too. Now that I have pathfinding, I think I can make that more of a reality. The achievement for killing two enemies with a skull. Two birds, one. That is beautiful. Two birds, one bone. Complete a run without parrying. Secret achievement, zero light, zero deaths. So on your first run through, you have zero light, and you make it all the way. Achievement to find the rat rider. Achievement that you get if you have more hours in the mini game than you do the actual game. Just want to say that the game's looking so good. Really respect your work ethic. Although don't push yourself too hard. Keep up the good work. Oh, thanks, JTC. I'll keep monitoring my ability to keep going. I will not burn out. Achieve market, crash the bank's market. Yeah, yeah. Will the game only have one ending, or do you intend on two or three? I think it's gonna have. I think it probably will have one ending and then like a super ending. So like you do the first thing a certain number of times, and then there's like more post game content that you can keep going with. I do have a Discord. Please join. Please join. And I would love that list. There's an ideas for submission forum on there. Peaceful run, maneuvering around all enemies except bosses. Love that. But these achievements unlock new relics in relation to the achievement goal. That pacifism one would be really hard because you wouldn't be able to power yourself up very much for the bosses. New relics in relation. Ooh, that could be really interesting. Probably some of them could. I like that idea of like making progress toward unlocking relics by doing certain tasks. I guess that's very Pact of Punishment, or not Pact of Punishment, the prophecies in Hades. Caveman, kill 1,000 people dealing 1 damage with the cane. Unga bunga. How about parrying bones a number of times? That would be a really good one. We do need some silly Easter egg achievements as well. That's such a must. Zero light, no damage, no parries, no dodging, under 10 minutes. There's there should be some kind of form for submitting these because I'm gonna need to like review everything. An achievement that for getting enemies to kill themselves using electricity. Yeah, yeah, I love environmental kill types of things. Hardcore difficulty that makes you start with zero light for the yes. Achievement for collecting the bones. This no, that's not creepy at all. You know, collecting bones. Blasphemous did it, so I can too. No turn back at start of the game. Yeah, yeah, definitely. When you first go in, I'm 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 gonna try to put together a form for submitting achievement ideas because y'all are better at coming up with them than I am for sure. So, but I'm gonna go back to finishing this. Continue to chat though, you know. Keep sending them. Okay, so now I need to. I've initialized the immobilization, so that will actually work, but it doesn't do anything yet. So now I need to go into my player movement script that I made last week. Player movement. And this is going to be really simple, just like an escape clause. So this one needs to know about immobilization. I think that's going to be the simplest way to do that. And it's going to hold immobilization on it. This dot immobilization equals immobilization. Perfect. So then we just very simply need to go to manage jump if climbing up, or immobilization dot immobilized. We're going to return. And that same thing should work with manage horizontal move. If, yep, if immobilization dot immobilized. What if we just don't? Let's just see what happens. This part of the script, it's very messy. There's like a lot of ifs and else ifs in this whole thing. I'll end up refactoring the entire thing, but my goal for this is just like get it working and get it feeling good, and then I can make it like clean. It does also like depending on the animator, which I don't necessarily like. It needs a separate state machine. But working and then nice. That's how it goes. Um, Ooh, that'd be so cool. Some items that you can throw at the wall and then climb with. So like you could throw a spear into the wall and then like bounce on it. That would be so cool, actually. Steam allows 100 achievements. Okay. I love to make it just work. I always forget to refactor. I have fun with refactoring. That's my treat. Making it the code nicer. After I make progress in the game, I go, "Ooh, I can reward myself with a little refactor." But this making the player into a state machine would be a big refactor. That's gonna be hard. Bone spear. Yes, bone spear. Writing this down. Bone spear and bone meringue were the two bone additions for this week or for this chat. Okay, where was I? We are going to try. So now I'm going to make an environment script. We're going to call it an environment script, even though an enemy is probably what's going to do this to you. And we're going to call it immobilizer. And I'm going to have this just be really simple. And it's called... What's it going to do? Do we even need immobilize? Yes, we do. We need a function that's called immobilize public void immobilize that takes in an immobilization. What's nice is if I can make immobilization a little bit more abstract even, I could also put it on enemies to theoretically. Okay. Immobilization. And then we're going to just do immobilization dot immobilize, or set immobilized is what I called it. And let's say that each immobilizer is given a quality of it's not duration, it's counts. So immobilization counts. Oh, I need to call out what kind of variable it is, of course. So that's going to be an int. And then we're just going to have immobilization counts. So this is super simple script here. But the way that I'm going to set it up, let's go back to this, and we're going to create a new game object called immobilizer. And we're going to add hold on, there must be a compiler error. Ah, okay, my player movement. Because I added that to the initializer. So now I should be able to create that component. Immobilizer, lovely. Let's create a box collider. And we're going to make it a trigger so that I can move through it. And we'll just see what happens when I think I do need to, hold on. I think I do want to put this on here. Because otherwise it won't pass. Yeah. This needs to know public void on, or private. On trigger, enter 2D. Collision, and what it's going to do is look for if collision, no, don't do that. If collision dot get component immobilization is not equal null, then we're going to go immobilize. Immobilization. What? Oh, I see. We need collision dot try get component immobilization out var immobilization. And then, so that's going to test to see if we get the immobilization component on whatever collides with me, and then it's going to immobilize that with however many immobilization counts are set up in the thingy. And then just as a last thing, let's make this a color. On gizmos, on draw gizmos, how about that? And then we're going to say draw cube. It's been a little while since I've done this. Gizmos.color equals color.red. Gizmos.draw. Can I draw a square or do I have to draw a cube? I do have to draw a cube. Draw cube. Transform.position. So we're just going to draw it right where this thing is. And then the size is going to be we're going to have a box collider 2D. Box collider. This is just for like debugging purposes and stuff. Box collider equals get component box collider 2D. Box collider dot size. That should have it always drawing a red square. So we know exactly where it is. Whoa, it's mad. Why are you so mad? Oh, because it doesn't actually know. All this is silly. But let's do serialized field. We won't have it be awake. Oh boy. Lots of stuff going on. Completing domain. So now, oh, there we go. But I made an offset in this collider, so that's why it's offset. So let's go like that, and then it will be exactly lined up. And then I don't think I want it to be so bright of a red. So gizmos dot color. Can I do this? Times equals 0.5f. Let's just see. I've never tried that before. What this should do, or what I'm hoping to do with it, is that it'll just turn kind of translucent. Oh, it worked! Nice! Okay. Does this stream always turn to bone? Yes. It does. Near-death experience. Survive X seconds near the... Oh, yeah, that's good. Dying in a trap. Achievement called dual-wielded... Poor dual-wielded. Got caught and then roasted by all the other judges in the competition. Okay, so now it's mad. Why is it mad? It doesn't know what it... immobilizer is. Oh, I know why. It's probably because I had it send in the immobilization before the immobilizer was created. So where am I initializing movement? Yep, that's why this has to happen before that, because it's all dependent on that. Honestly, movement should also take in stamina. We'll deal with that later. Having the whole screen be your light called Who Turned the Lights On? What if you could collect different kinds of bones and just straight up assemble a complete skeleton out of them? And then it's Skelly from Hades. Boy? Boyo? Achievement, disappointment, dies in dead boss. It's perfect. There we go. So now I have the gizmos on in here too. And nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? Good question. Let's find out. Oh, probably in part. I mean, there's probably other problems with this, but because the immobilization counts as 0. So it immediately is not immobilized. Not a sprint, a marathon. Win after more than an hour. That's a careful player. Oh, uh-oh. Okay. So we're doing something here. But here's what's happening. It just keeps the momentum. So immobilization also oh my lord. But that's working, right? Because that means if I'm going back and forth, like it's not working, and then if I go back and forth AD spam, then I finally do get free. So all we need to do is go into player movement, and here's where we can. Do I have any subscriptions in here? No. Player movement. So immobilization dot on immobilized changed. We need an immobilize function in here, I think. Let's put this at the end because it's kind of different from everything else. Private void immobilize. Immobilize. Yeah, sure. And then this is going to take in a bool because that action took in or that action sent a bool. Bool immobilized. So we're going to say if immobilized. So that's the same as saying if immobilized equals true. Then we're going to, let's see, do I have anything for this? We're just going to do a very harsh RB dot velocity. Right? No, it's player dot RB dot velocity. And velocity is not capitalized. And it's not a method. Equals vector2 dot 0. That should be all. Adding that. Immobilize. Nope. Immobilize. Yeah, there it is. And then we need to unsubscribe so we don't get a memory leak. Private void on destroy. We're going to go mobilization dot, what was it? On immobilize changed. Minus equals immobilize. Okay, cool. This should actually work. Wait, did Void Dryden reappear or did he permanently fix the hotkey? I did permanently fix it. So there might be a different way that I can have nice little hotkeys, but that was not it. Clearly. Add a milk relic at boost damage of bone weapons. Stackable. That's amazing. Is there some kind of like mythical or legendary cow that could be the source of the milk? That'd be kind of amazing. That would be a good reference. I just joined the DC. Is there a channel for announcements, or should I post my list in the general chat? There's a forum in there for idea submissions in the Discord. Achievement for getting the Light of Skull. Funny bone. Connection to the void opens only once in 1,000 years. Did I miss something? Or are you reading my secret story notes? Are you planning to add any Easter eggs like Hollow Knight's skull rarely appearing or an item based off Spelunky or something? Oh yeah, yeah, I'd love to do that kind of thing. I think that would be so fun. We all skeleton with meat. Truth. Achievement bones. Donate 100 bones to the. Ooh. Maybe you could. Yeah, maybe there's like a basket that you can put bones into in the shop, and that would be kind of incredible. Any Indian cow there is. Holy cow. Holy cow. From Greek mythology. Apollo's sacred red cows. Io the cow who Hera cursed. Oh, I didn't know the story of Io. I didn't know that he was a cow. I just know him as the moon of Jupiter. There's a mythical cow in many mythologies, including Norse, Greek, Egyptian, and lots of others. It's usually not the focus. Most prominent I know of is Hathor. Polish dancing call. Oh, there's also like Baal, but Baal is a steer. You don't want that milk. Hey, Dryden Thomas, what inspires you the most in making the stories? Um, Lots of different sources. I really like history and mythology, clearly. Uh, but the story kind of what inspires it is it's more of like a gradual outgrowth of things. So like I have the core concepts that I'm working from, like people who were seeking immortality through different means, and then they become the bosses. That's kind of it all kind of like grows out of that. So the main inspiration for the story at this point is what's already there and like what would fit and reinforce the themes the best. Like other sub themes are like parent-child relationships or stuff like that. Just joined. What's with all this bovine talk? Somebody suggested a relic that increases the strength of bones that's milk. So we do a little tangent. We do a little tangent sometimes. Io was one of Zeus's assault victims. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, the cow. I forgot that. That was Io. Bones, bone, a bow that shoots bows. Yeah, bone. Yeah, that would be amazing. Bone projectiles from a bow. Bone arrows. I love Disinherited. I want time it now. Me too. I want it. Everything that's in my head to just be dumped into the screen. Howdy, Dryden. Game's looking great. Thanks, Sisyphus Delta. Thank you for answering. Calcium. Calcium is funny. Agreed. Yeah, it's complicated. Zeus did a lot of stuff. It's Zeus. Okay, let's see if this one worked. Because I. Oh no! It didn't. Why not? Maybe I need to also set if it happens like mid-frame or something. Ah, this is what we need. Into the actual get velocity thing. We need a moment. We need a bool called immobilize this frame. Bool immobilized this frame. Let's just see if this works. False. And then when immobilized happens, we're going to set that to true. So I need one more thing to happen in here. That's a bummer. I thought this one was going to work. Immobilized this frame equals true. And then let's do one called check immobilized. Because if we're immobilized, back down to the bottom, private void, check immobilized. If we are indeed immobilized, then we want to current, what is it? Velocity workspace dot x equals 0. You can no longer move side to side. Falling is okay. And then the other thing that's going to do, oh, we need to put that inside an if statement. If immobilized this frame, I'm going to reverse that. Return. If you weren't immobilized this frame, this isn't going to do anything. It's just going to get out of this function. But if you were, then it's going to set the velocity workspace to 0. And then we're going to have immobilized this frame equals false. Not equals false. No, we're going to check if it's equal to false. We're just going to set it equal to false so that this doesn't happen again. Okay. Guys, I've gathered some of the past achievement ideas set in the past in the suggestions forum. If you have any more, nice. Yes, it would be really cool to have them all in one place. Thank you, Foxy. Is that how you pronounce that? Foxy? It's like the coolest way of spelling Foxy. It's a show called... Okay. Well, that's doing the same thing. You jerk! That's definitely something. That's kind of fun. It's absurd, though. Uh-oh. Okay, so why, then... Let's set also current saved momentum to 0. Clear saved X momentum. Because maybe that's the problem. And also let's do this in here. Just like to triple do everything. It doesn't feel like anything should be able to happen now with your X momentum. So we know that it is happening that you're becoming immobilized because this weird effect where you keep running is happening. Oh, I wonder if I need to set the... Well, we'll see. Hey, it worked. Yeah, look. I'm button mashing. So let's see what happens if I roll into it. Also good. It's happening. Gotta say, vector calculus is literal hell. If there's internal punishment, I'm pretty sure it's just a college math class. Funny thing, I did not take any math in college. I was a music theater major, and I already had my credits from high school, so I just didn't. This is a very strange and surreal. Oh, wow. Okay. So that needs to be dealt with, though, because if you're going up, you do stay going up. But why? That's my question. Are those gray patches of gray? Yes, they are still in the game. I actually haven't implemented them into the level design yet, but they are still going to be happening because I think it's really cool and probably even more stuff like that. Hey Dryden, where did you learn to code? You seem so multi-skilled. I started learning code from a Gamedev.tv course, Unity C#. Whoa! That was funny. And then after that, it was just YouTube, and then like continuously trying to expand my skill set on coding. There's so much free information out there, but I do think it's kind of important to have a fairly structured start to it so that you at least know you're learning the beginnings of it from somebody who knows what they're talking about. Wow, that's so goofy. So if you go up when you become immobilized, you keep becoming immobilized. I wonder if I still want gravity to happen. Like I still want you to be able to fall. Check immobilize. Oh, it's because I think maybe I just want clear saved X momentum. Maybe I need the saved Y momentum to go away too. Oop. No, thank you. The jetpack relic is going crazy. If the Icarus wings, that would be really cool. Well, I can't disable inputs completely when immobilized because I want you to be able to still pause the game. And also the inputs are needed for breaking free of immobilization. What if you had a relic that replaces... A relic that replaces your roll with a blink dash is totally something that's in my mind right now. Okay, so you can still jump while immobilized. That's a problem. We definitely want that to not happen. So let's see. Jump. We just need an escape clause from here. If immobilization dot immobilized return. Another thing that we can do is, let's separate this out. Coroutine, jump coroutine. Jump coroutine. And then in the jump function, what happens? Jump, we're going to have this be coroutine, jump coroutine. And then if we are immobilized, then jump coroutine, stop coroutine, jump coroutine. And I think I put that coroutine on the player because this is not a mono behavior. This is not this is a C# object. So I have to put the coroutine on the player, which is the game object, mono behavior. Achievement for getting immobilized. Horrifying. See you, Troy. Want to learn, but I can only get as far as mastering Scratch. Hey, if you're mastering Scratch, that means you're getting the concepts down. And that's like the hardest part. So once you have that, then it's just a matter of translating it into like all this text stuff. Because Scratch is like node based, right? If I remember right. Whoop. Oh no. It didn't work. It did sort of work though, because now I can't jump anymore. Ooh, yeah, that'd be cool. For my roguelike I'm working on, I have screen effects such as the camera goes fuzzy and color tints for a nausea effect. Would you be interested in adding something like that? Yeah, something like that could be really cool. This is feeling more right, but the problem is if I roll into... Okay, if I roll into it, it's working as expected. What about if I am in the air when I get immobilized? I still want falling to happen efficiently. So let's see what's going on there. Check immobilized. Velocity workspace plus current saved momentum. A knockback, apply boost. What if... Oh, check immobilized only happens once. Right. Gotta think about that. Oh, I know. It needs to... This is so messy. Ugh, oh well. We need to actually end the jump. Set bool jumping to false. Because what's happening is it's reading the animator's jumping parameter to see if it should be zero gravity, because the start of the jump has zero gravity. Godot is very user-friendly. Yeah, I tried out Godot and I liked it, to start with, but I realized that it was going to be such a problem for my like momentum and ability to keep going fast that I didn't go any further. But I do recommend people who are starting now, if I could start now, I probably would start with Godot. Ah, there we go. Now we're falling appropriately. Whee! I mean, it's a little slow of a fall. I don't know why it's slow, but it's pretty close to how it should be. So that needs to stop, though. So why is the... If I have saved moment... Whee! Why is that happening? It's a good question. It keeps going in the exact same direction, but I should have cleared the momentum, because that's what happens when you get immobilized. Clear saved X, clear saved Y. Let's check those out. Maybe I wrote them wrong. Clear saved momentum, vector 2 dot right. Clear saved momentum times equals vector 2 dot up. That should be correct. This should be clearing all that saved momentum out. So why isn't it? Taking flight. Break the game's physics system. Can it... Oh, that'd be a good idea. I should do the art for getting trapped next stream. Remember when Samuel could fly? Good old days. Oh, well, yeah. I apply physics 2D dot gravity. I do have... I mean, I could just, like, reinforce player.rb.gravity scale equals base gravity. That's probably a good thing to be sure, because I definitely want that to be true. And the only thing that unsets the gravity is jumping and climbing. Hmm. Zero. Let's just... Velocity works based out... Or not velocity. Saved velocity. Wait. Saved momentum? Why can't I set that? What's going on? Oh, current saved momentum. Dot x equals 0. So this should do it. If nothing else does. Script, thou shalt not function as thy should by our decree. Are you cursing my script right now? Dryden Thomas flight simulator. Dumbbell can be upgraded shop. Longer use it, the stronger player become. Stronger the player, heavier than double can. Because the current heavy bash deals 5, which is like kind of respectable. Initially, I didn't... You can see the 5 really small there, or really behind the nav mesh. Boop. The heavy bash does do 5 now, so it's a little bit more respectable than it was in the original game. Oh, hey, that I think did what we wanted it to. So if I roll, jump through, okay. Current, or velocity workspace dot what? Oh. Sure. Well, this is only for managing the horizontal move. I don't want to get it too muddy. As if it's not already. If immobilization dot immobilized, then current save momentum dot y equals 0. Let's just get rid of that too. Maybe that's the issue. It's the saved momentum. Achievement program max speed. Oh yeah, that would be really good if you can Like, build up your max momentum. Also, Great Scott! That's so fun and in character for the game. I love it. Oh, what feature is this? A trap. Yeah, it'll be for a trap, or it could be for certain attacks or something. It's just a thing that I should be able to apply to Samuel where you need to AD spam or left right spam to get out of it. Okay, let's see. Let's check out our little log here. Adding. Why are we adding that to the saved momentum? Oh, no, that makes sense actually. That's X. Why did I mix up X and Y? I'm just curious why. This is why momentum is continuing. Let's see in the animator maybe. Maybe that'll give us a clue. Samuel jump hang. That's the animation. None of the parameters are set true, so that can't be it. Let's check out his rigid body, his physics. See what's going on right now. And the gravity scale is 3. So why are you floating, bro? You should be falling. Boost, apply knockback, manage wall climb, manage jump. You're not doing any of those things. Try the buffer jump, horizontal move. So I'm just going to see if... You know what would be simpler? What would be simpler than doing this is just having, let's just manage immobilization at the very end. Let's change this to manage immobilization. I think this will help keep the other scripts much cleaner too. Because these all happened before, and then this one's going to get the final word. So anywhere that we did that, I'm going to leave that there because I don't want you to even be able to start a jump. Manage immobilization. Who cares if we're immobilized this frame? Stop coroutine. Good, good. Immobilize this frame. Base gravity. Velocity workspace. Dot y equals last. No, I don't have that saved. Plus equals gravity scale times physics 2D dot gravity dot y times time dot fixed delta time. Layer dot rb dot gravity scale. What? What's wrong? Oh, I see. We want this has to be, in order to be added, it has to be a vector 2. There we go. This, at the very least, should work. It's a bit of a taking a hammer to it. Saw a video about farmer was replaced. A coding game, and that's used to make coding knowledge. Confused status effect. Reverses movement directions. Actually, that could be really great for a certain area. Achievement for getting immobilized 50 times, but you told me to freeze. Oh, that sounds so familiar. It's almost... It's like on the tip of my tongue what that is. Whale, hello there. Get eaten by a whale. Then I'll have to have a whale in the game. Routine is null. Ah! Rude. Okay, let's check and see the exact stack trace of why that happened. In manage immobilization, if jump coroutine, hate this, jump coroutine does not equal null. Why subtlety if brute force is viable? True. Achievement is a bird, it's a plane, it's death. Die by fall damage. That would be at least a little like, if you die by fall damage, it's like, here you go, you got an achievement for it. Don't feel bad. Is there going to be a whole area for the pirate boss? Yes. Every boss has an area attached because the whole concept is like they are these really powerful souls that are in death's domain and they kind of shape their world around them by the power of their desire to stay alive. Oh, we're just immobilized from the start? What? Something has happened here. Oh, because I didn't actually... Okay. If immobilization dot immobilized. If we're not immobilized, we're just not going to do this step. Obviously. Net trap. Oh yeah, there could be net traps in the pirate area too. Pirate area could be combined with the mushroom area or something from the last dev stream. I love the idea of a nature, like a mushroom or forest area. I kind of have a boss that I've drawn that could apply there, but also doing tile maps for natural things is horrible. But it could also be really pretty, like worth it. Achievement: Cartoon Warrior slip on a banana 10 times. Dead Poets Society laureate. Okay, so now I'm... Oh, nice. And see, now if I do this, then he'll actually flip back and forth and be sweating. And then he gets free. So if I go here... Oh, awesome. This is feeling much more like it should. Let's see if we do the save momentum thing. Oh, he's caught. He fell. This is great. This is working exactly as intended. Yes. Hard tack. Yeah, that would be a great idea. Elden Ring Poison Bog level TBA. Yeah, I'm making Kaled. It's like he's like, why am I going down into Kaled? Also, would anybody ever choose to go that path through the game if there was a Kaled zone? It'd have to be very rewarding. That place is awful. Okay. So now I have that. What I want now is just a test to see if I can apply this effect via an attack. And this will probably be the last thing I do on stream. So what if I take this little scaly boy and we're going to create a new type of bone. Just for now. Bone attack. We're going to call this immobilizing bone attack. And then we're going to have immobilizing bone projectile, which is going to have the immobilizing bone attack in it. And where's my bone projectile? We need a new immobilizing bone projectile. That has attached to it, where are we? This data. And what we're going to do is we have the hitbox here, an immobilizer. We're going to have it be 25. And now we don't want this anymore to do that. So we're going to have a different way of, let's take this out. Let's take that out. Mobilization counts, box, we don't need this box collider anymore. Testing phase is over. Mobilization set immobilized. So now all we need to do is, we need to pass in the thing to be immobilized to the immobilizer that's on this hitbox. That's going to be like the first way that we do this. So on the attack success, does this pass anything? Hitbox is the most chaotic script in the entire thing. Oh, so this will just for now, this should apply it to the immobilized. So we need to, on the attackable, if attackable dot get game object dot get component immobilization and get component try and game object dot try get component immobilization outvar mobilizer. That's what we actually want. Mobilizer. Get out of here. I don't need that. Then we're going to take, also this is going to be the same thing. Outvar mobilization. Mobilization. Immobilizer dot immobilize. Immobilize. Wait. Immobilizer dot immobilize. What do you mean the name immobile? Did I spell it wrong? Yep, I did. Dot immobilize immobilization. Okay. Ugh. I love how sometimes programming is just typing almost the same word like 20 million times. Ooh, achievements for relic combinations would be a great idea. Yes, and you're reading my mind. Cloudless Thread and relics named after her sisters. Yeah, there's definitely going to be an Atropos and a Lachesis or a Lachesis. How do you pronounce that? I wonder. Okay, idea Cronus Watch. Ooh, that's cool. Could be interesting to implement. What about the ice floor in the pirate area? Ooh. If you move in the decision, you step on it without stopping. That would be intense. Achievement: get defeated. Get defeated by a giant foot. I feel like we're making the puns and then designing mechanics around it. Which is honestly blessed process. Relic idea, balancing table, set fuel and health the same, but if you lose health it goes down, but it doesn't go down on its own. Interesting. An effect called Charon's Obol. Oh, and just be more Hades. I mean, more Hades is always a good thing, I think. Until Supergiant comes after me. They wouldn't. Supergiant's too cool. Okay, so on this skeleton, I'm going to replace his launcher bone projectile with the immobilizer bone. Let's turn off gizmos in the game. So theoretically, let's move this guy away too. We're kind of getting in the way. And let's spawn a little closer. Theoretically, when I get hit by this, I should become immobilized. That's true. No harm in taking inspiration, just makes them bigger giants in the industry. You might even say super giants. Let's see what happens. Moment of truth. Oh, yes, it worked. It immobilized me. Get me out of here. Oh, nice. And then this one won't because I didn't replace his projectile. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That is so good. Get me out of here. So then I would probably want some kind of pop-up to happen that's like, back and forth to free yourself. And a little pop-up says, immobilized above his head. And someday there'll be a death animation too. What if you had a system to catch a little creature that you called like pocket monsters or Pokemon for short, which fight for you and remove everything you have so far? You know, I think that could be really popular. What if, oh, hear me out. What if I did that, but added like guns and stuff and made it like 3D and like the designs were really appealing? We could call it something like Friendland. I think that could really sell very well. OMG, you died. Is that a Dark Souls reference? Yeah, it is. It is. Achievement, you managed to die from the first enemy. You managed. Say it one more time before I left. What did you have to say? Achievement, Grim Reaper. I hardly know her. Too good. Something in I used to play Overwatch all the time, and something I used to say all the time was Reaper, I hardly saw her. And nobody laughed for like years of me saying this joke. And then finally I said it like last week to my friends, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard." Like, did you did you not hear it the whole time before? Uh, no, friend is too long. I'm thinking more like pal or something. Yeah, pal land. But then you got that LL thing going on. I think it's got to be like palverse. What about palverse? Achievement, are you winning, son, when you beat your dad? That's that's irresistible. Uh Palverse, Pal World, Pal World, Pal World. Now that's catchy. I think people would go nuts for that. Relic idea, death flute, it makes a sound to lure the Reaper to a location, keeps it there for a while. Ooh, that's neat. Back on the combos, do you think you'll incorporate something like set bonuses? Yeah, yeah, that's what, if I was going to do something that visually changes Samuel, because that's a lot of work, you have to hand animate every single one of his animations, um, that would be something like special, like you get five five relics that are all on the same theme, and then you have like the Twilight outfit or something like that, because I have several Twilight things. Pal Place, Pal Palace, Palace. Pal World. There it is. Help, I can't join the Discord. The link doesn't work. That's weird. I'll check that out. There should be links in any of the videos that I've put up so far. Staying immobilized for a prolonged period could get the achievement. What happened to safe words? Oh no. Achievement. Hi, Dad. Um, what about like, hi, Dad, I'm Dad, when you lose to your dad? So the next thing that I'm going to need here is like an animation for um different ways that he can get trapped, because I already have two in mind. Also, this place is going to be this next area is going to be absolutely horrifying. I did one of the enemies yesterday. It's it's rough. It's really scary. The minute I finished the animation, I was like, "Oh no, this is bad. This is really bad." But I won't spoil here. Other than that, I think we've got everything kind of covered. So yeah, I think that's it for the stream. Any last questions? Any final requests? More bones. Hi, back. I'm dad. That's it. That's it. Hi, back. I'm What if the immobilization was a spine? It's gonna be the theme is chains. So just just keep you have so you have that in mind. Model after death whistles the Aztecs used. Those things are so those sounds are so scary. Just did some art for the bone school. Oh, sick. In the Discord. Love to see that. Can't wait to check that out. Question, what is his mom? Great question. Um I'm not gonna reveal that. There's plans. Mom's involved. Where artifact, Thanatos Shroud, take a little less damage from the Reaper. I like that. There should be like something I'm thinking mechanically for is that there would be ways that you can get powers, but at a trade of empowering the Reaper. So like he moves really fast, or his max speed is way higher, or he can throw projectiles at you when he's nearby, or he drains your light much faster. Stuff like that, where it's like, ooh, do I want to take this? Because the game's going to become harder. But as your skill level increases as you play, you'll be more confident. You'll be like, oh yeah, I can play around that one. Think you'll be adding more systems or systems integrations. Yeah, definitely. Definitely more systems. Lots of things just kind of popping around. I often describe my brain as like a perpetual stew. So everything you guys comment or post, I pretty much read it all and internalize it. And like sometimes they bounce off of each other and produce something that I'm like, oh, this is the iteration that's going to go into this game. It has to happen. You have a good day too, JTC. Might be easier to intuitively grok how to escape immobilization if a player shows a struggling animation state. Yeah, that's what I need now. Is like draw some struggling, draw some like chained. Um, then it'll be more of a visceral thing too. It not even just like a I know what to do with this, but like a oh I feel that in my bones. Will the final boss have multiple phases? Yeah, probably. It drains your light quicker. Yeah. Uh, you should make an item similar to Dark Esau, where you can hold Dark Esau, where you can hold the Reaper in place for a couple seconds before it launches towards you, hurting anything in its way. Is Dark Esau is that like a Binding of Isaac reference? Achievement Strong Boy, throw a dumbbell at an enemy. There a dumbbell would be a good or like something very heavy to throw. Cannonballs in the pirate area would apply here. A relic that combines enemies who throw bone nukes and explode into a lot of bones. Yeah, AoE damage. Can there be an achievement for not killing the clockwork frogs? They're my buddies. Aw. Maybe there should be a way to get them as a pet or something. A relic that combines health and fuel so they become the same bar that don't slowly go goes down extra for damage amounts. That could be a really interesting play style. What's been the hardest part of this project so far? Hmm. Good question. I think I don't have like a real I think the hardest bit of the programming has been some of the hitbox stuff and because there's a lot of overlap between like okay, what's a holdable item, what's a hitbox, what's a projectile. So conceptualizing what the responsibilities for those scripts are is really challenging and like the where should the variables be? It's gotten me into a lot of trouble and especially because I had to come up with those things very early and very fast, like for the 3 weeks of the competition. So they got messy. Sorting that out is still a process that's happening. What's going on? I just got here. Dark light. I just made a an immobilized status effect for Samuel, and we're just kind of wrapping up. But I'm glad you could make it. A big rock, always a big rock. It would be cool if the second phase of the dad fight was how Klaus sees his father, monstrosity and evil. Oh, okay. Well, so he's not gonna have a second phase. He might have some kind of second phase where he gets more powerful, but he's not gonna like, "Oh, this is my true form." That's more for the Reaper later. Something kind of like that. Heavy version of a bone projectile, complete ribcage. Ooh, yeah, that could have like a different throwing arc. Very interesting. Bone fissures, bone nuke would be crazy. That could be the ribcage too. Uh, but how would we call it? Will there be more bosses? There will be more bosses by the end of this 100-day challenge. I think I won't be able to fit any more bosses because it's like a boss always has an area which always has like 5 enemies and new mechanics and all the decorations and the tile map. It gets adding one boss is actually adding like several weeks of work, right? Flameheart could be a relic name for the health light fusion. Very cool. Or even like a sacred heart, like a that iconography that you always see, like with the heart on fire, and it's like, not this, but more like that. Yeah, like coin flip, flip a coin, see if you get extra damage or minus damage. Ooh, a little risk reward action. Maybe a green color. Does anyone have any achievements they want me to write down? Yeah, because you're doing the thing in the forum. Lovely. A drivable vehicle. That's a whole thing. You know, that happens to me too. Why does the chat take 30 seconds to show up after I load into the stream? Anytime I try to like go back in and review a chat, it's like it takes like a long time. Have you already started thinking about your next project? Not trying to stress you out, just wondering. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's gonna. I mean, Lighthoof. Going back and working on Lighthoof, my first game, which I haven't finished, would be kind of the default expectation. But who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Do you plan on making mini bosses that don't need a special area? That would be another thing that I would like to get in there in some way. I have to rethink the procedural generation for the levels. I want there to be more variety that can happen there. So like a mini boss could fit into that. Achievement. If you wait for a while, you die of old age and lose with the achievement. Wait a minute. No, actually don't. Please start playing. Hey, what would you think of to supplement low lantern a holdable, throwable light source? Yeah, that's a great idea. Like a torch, or you can grab a light bulb or something. How's development of the cat going? It's going great. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up this stream now. Thanks everybody for your questions, and thank you so much for being here. You're all really, really awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. We've got one on Wednesday evening, my time. You can check the schedule for that. And then another devlog on Friday. So I'll see you in that premiere, hopefully. Oh man, you returned just as it ended. That's too bad. But I'm glad you were here earlier too. All right. See you, everybody. Thanks.